Hello everyone, my name is Grace and welcome to Plumbob Cubed. My apologies for not streaming in a minute. I believe the last time I streamed was in March, I want to say. And basically, I had to work like 15 days in a row and I only was aware like on the day I was supposed to stream that I was working 15 days in a row, and then I just needed to recover. But we are back, and I am going to transition us over to the gameplay. So, let me fix that it says episode 12, but we are here with Nothing is Free in. We are here with Nothing is Free in Deary Meadows. I am excited to get back into it. I normally try to wait until morning, but there were just some technical difficulties getting ready for this. So we're just going to let everyone sleep. Of course, I do have notes for my series that I do to like try to keep track of what I think is relevant. And of course, I didn't write down what I wanted to do like this episode. In my little Deary Meadows like notion that I used to keep track of. So that's great. Right? I know that we want to partner up Lydia. I also believe that we wanted to build a actual house for our Meadows family here, especially since Dietrich is she's already an elder. Oh, that hurts my heart. Okay. That's actually so fine. And while I'm thinking about it, I would love for people to sleep until they're fully rested. Basically, everyone's going to be fully rested really early, except for Lydia, because I believe she was out last night talking to Barbara. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I believe it is currently Ginger who is getting up. So we'll have her eat some leftover apple pancakes. And then she wants to make her own bed, but I believe we have a maid hired, so I'm not too worried about that. Instead, I will get her started on hygiene. And then she's a couch potato, neurotic, and a genius. What have we had her working on? Chess? Just has charisma. Crazy. I would love to send her fishing because that will get us money. And we are trying to get that money right now. Then Dietrich is also just not having a good time. So I do kind of want to get her up so she can eat. And then once she has eaten, rather than taking care of her hygiene first, we will have her tend her garden. She just needs to eat first. Lydia has work. I forgot you had a career. My bad. Oh, you look like you're gonna get fired, girly pop. You're doing bad. Okay. Her needs are kind of okay. I'm gonna have her run to like try to take care of her needs as fast as possible right now. That's so great. I completely forgot about that. Elmore wants to hang out with his mom. That's absolutely chill. He can go ahead and eat leftovers. Honestly, I'm not gonna have anyone use the restroom until Lydia has taken care of her stuff. So I think that everyone is just gonna immediately go to their like main money-making thing for right now. So that means Lydia will not be interrupted and can hopefully go to work on time. Honestly, she doesn't... I'd rather prioritize shower over hygiene because she can eat later. So that's my thought process there. And then Lauren is waking up. He's 10 days away from being an elder. Wow. Again, he can just go ahead and he can eat the chocolate chip cookies since we are officially out of pancakes. All right. And him and Dietrich want to get married, and we need to do that before Dietrich dies. So I believe my thought process was we're gonna build a house. Girly Pop, did you take your hygiene? Her hygiene is full, so it seems like she did take a shower. So she's also going to have a chocolate chip cookie. That works. Then Elmore, what are your traits? Elmore would be helpful to have him do some unclogging, but I think Lauren has the handiness skill. So he'll just do it faster, which will be helpful. Dietrich is cleaning up, but then she can absolutely go tend to garden because her hunger, which is what was like really bad, is taken care of. Lydia can get out from in front of the sink. That would be great. Since we have I'm trying to figure out whose hygiene I want to prioritize first. Well, actually, Lauren just has to fix the toilet first. So he'll be the first sim to take care of hygiene since it was clogged. Dietrich, don't worry about cleaning the dishes. You have a maid. She's eating in front of the sink and we can't change that about Lydia. She's going to work. And hopefully, will continue to have a job after this. She's really in the red. And she's only at level 1. It's not concerning at all. Oh gosh. Yes, Lauren, I understand it's frustrating that she's in front of the sink. Okay. And there Lydia goes. We're gonna do the intense prayer because that increases her work performance. And that is what we need right now. Perfect. So from here, we are hopefully just gonna have a rather chill morning, which is wonderful. Perfect. Okay. And toilet's already been fixed, which is great. So we'll just have Lauren use it and have him shower immediately. He wants to catch an anchovy. He also has some more wishes to cook. We do need some more leftovers. So I'd love to have him serve like pancakes. So we have a morning food stocked. And then he can honestly just go fishing too. Then Miss Ginger. I'm gonna have Miss Ginger use the restroom and then probably Elmore while Dietrich does continue to work on the garden. Though it might be smart. Elmore does have some gardening and he has already mastered fishing. So I might send him to help with the garden right now. And Ginger has now developed the cooking skill, which is incredible. Not the cooking skill, the fishing skill, which is incredible. Right? I'm going to sell what Elmore caught for all of our sanities. It's actually kind of helpful doing this series because it's kind of taught me Elmore has harvested enough fruits and vegetables to complete the Botanical Boss Skill Challenge. Incredible. But doing this challenge has definitely helped me understand the importance of like inventory management in The Sims, which I've kind of always ignored, right? So it's wonderful to actually be developing that skill, right? Then we have our additional properties, right? I'm selling some of the gemstones we had ready from last time. We have the outstanding veggies we want to deliver to Graciela, I believe. So I'm going to keep that, but we are going to sell our money bags. Those are great to have. Lauren has reached cooking skill 3. Please don't burn down the house, bestie. I mean, if you did, that wouldn't be too bad since we are planning to rebuild it. I have my little notebook with floor plans, which I know I showed last time. And we have... Okay. And then I did have one that we decided as... Well, I decided as the Dairy Meadows family home. Or no, I think that was just labeling it and not exactly which one I wanted to be their house. So I do have floor plans to choose from. Okay. Okay. Because that's helpful to know. Yeah. But it would be great. Honestly, a 4-bedroom would be great for them since they do have 2 children. It would be great if the children could have their own bedrooms, but we'll have to see if we can get that, right? For now, Lauren finished his cooking, which is great. We're just gonna put it in the fridge to refer to later. Elmore, you're getting really close to where your mom is in the garden, so you're gonna go take care of your needs. And after that, he has a job. He has the burial specialist, which is in 6 hours. And he's actually close to getting a promotion, which is incredible. So, which is exactly what he wants. So due to that, he wants to prepare grilled salmon. Maybe we should have had him cook. He can cook a lunch, maybe. Once, you know, we're closer to that time in the day, he could do that. Right? Otherwise, I do think I'm just gonna send him back to fish, you know? And then can a child take care of dead plants? No. Because I don't want anyone who's taking care of their hygiene to deal with the garden. Lydia, what's going on, girly pop? Says if Lydia doesn't fix her work performance soon, she will face disciplinary action. We're trying. We're doing the intense prayer, and it still says our performance is going down. So, should we just like study the sacred text? Would that help? Please tell me that will help. Our work performance is just going down no matter what we do. Okay, great. She might get fired. It's not our business if she gets fired. Right. That's not our priority. Our priority is, you know, setting her up with someone. It was nice to have that little income for a second, but it's fine if she loses her job. She's not very passionate about it. She cares more about chess. Right. And then... Actually, it seems like Elmore and Dietrich weren't really close to him in the garden. He's gonna come back and help with all the dead plants. Because that's important to me. And I don't think... It looks like all of our plants do at least have, like, one left. But I am always still very nervous. I'm gonna place the watermelon there. And then we can plant once we're done. Alright. Miss Dietrich, she can also help with disposing of dead plants. It'll go much faster if they work together. Right. And then this is a life plant that we need to restock there. These I don't want to like, because there's some lag, I'm gonna save. But I don't necessarily want to move our existing trees. I just kind of wait for them to die. So I feel like the 3 in the back, I am always going to try to maintain. Right? So we have like that lemon tree that we can go here and replant eventually. We have the purple eggplant that we also need to replant. The watermelon we already have. Miss D tree, do not take shower yet. Instead, you can start planting what has been put on the ground. You know? And let me make sure I click the watermelon so I especially don't forget that. And then we have 2 potato vine to put down. Perfect. And Elmore, he doesn't particularly need to help with anything in that sense. He can pay the bills though, since he is on the lot. That would be helpful. And then he can fish again to earn that money, right? Then I would prioritize Miss Dietrich using the restroom, so she can complete her opportunity of delivering the outstanding veggies. So yeah, then we have Victor Frankenstein as a book, which we can sell. Okay. Elmore doesn't need anything he doesn't need like these harvestables in his inventory. He's going to be good in that sense. So we can also sell those. And currently he has a wish to live in the lap of luxury. And he's almost completed that wish. Incredible, incredible. Okay. Because he wants to own 3 venues. And technically, I believe we should be able to do that in his lifetime. I think the way I'm going to adjudicate the, nothing is free. Because I thought in my brain, I think I said that the cemetery was for Michael since he's the father of one of the children. I think it's just going to be, like, related by blood or, like, basically, heir. Instead of, like, you can't marry in and get a place. Also, I'm, like, cutting off my head. Where I'm, like, naturally sitting. I'm not cutting off my head anymore. I think we should be good. I think we should be good. Right? Right? Perfect. And then... Are you guys hearing the desktop audio? Let me move it up a bit. Okay. Hopefully you should be able to hear it now. Perfect. So Miss Dietrich, rather than recycling, you're going to deliver your outstanding veggies. That's what's more pressing to me. So we can then sell more. Because I think my goals, ideally, I would love to build them like their house. I'm a little hesitant since I want them to ideally have 4 bedrooms right now, I think. Because I want a master. We have 2 children's bedrooms. Honestly, like... And then we can have, like, a guest bedroom, which will include, like, a nursery in it. I think that is my plan there for right now. But we need to build it, right? Hi, Miss Gracie Lanubi. Please don't be confused. We're very clearly giving you the veggies you wanted. Wonderful. And then she's just walking away. So we're gonna sell the rest of our harvestables, I guess. I think that's the most reasonable thing to do. Okay. One second. I'm gonna take forever to drag these. Then, since everyone is off the lot, ideally I like to have people like fishing when I'm building very close by the lot recently, I feel like, because they're easy to control, right? So I might have them do that. So I feel like with Miss Teacher, I would love to have her get some gems right now, since she is already out on the town, you know? So yeah, we're gonna sell all of our veggies. And then I'm going to say rocks and gems. And we have plenty to actually harvest. That would be great. We also have the graveyard that I would love to make better. Right, I think the graveyard is going to be Miss Dietrich's. That's what I'm going to assign to her, even though I would have, like, wished she could have, like, the theater. And, oh, she still needs to accomplish her lifetime wish. Oh, we need to get her 2 more friends. Okay. That's actually really urgent. Because we don't know when she's going to die. Okay. I'm now feeling stress about that. I mean, there are... I need to click where the gems are. If people are still in this area when we arrive here, we might be able to talk to some of them. Because, like, the kids, like Chloe and Arnett, I don't think, like, we're that close with. I don't think we're technically friends with them. Please, I beg you, Tolly, we're not friends with them. Barbara, we're distant friends. Chloe, we can befriend. That would be helpful. Then, Arnett, what do you look like so I can see if you're in here? I don't think I see Arnett even in our, like, people that we know list. So that's also helpful. And we do have long distance friend with Miss Dietrich. So that is also helpful long term. And then Lydia is so close to being fired and is also so stressed, but is enjoying working hard. She... Okay. That's not good. We're gonna figure it out. I think Lydia... I think improving her charisma skill is probably going to be the easiest way for her to not immediately fail out of this profession if she doesn't get fired by end of day today. So that's my plan there. Right now, I want Miss Dietrich to collect rocks. Okay, gotta have faith. Spiritual awareness in the city is low and existing. Peterins are losing their faith. The church wants you to do some personal outreach and get to know congregants you could be leading one day, which is just befriend a sim. We can do that. That'd be so easy to do, right? Miss Dietrich, rather than get rock, I love getting rock too. How about we greet the people that are here and, like, talk to them? So that means we can hopefully fit your friendship requirements. Right? We do need to know 4 more people, though. Wait, what's... Okay. Okay. We're just gonna talk to Chloe. We need to get her to the point where we are friends, which shouldn't be too hard. And, like, Arnett is right there. And he's just standing up reading, which is perfect. Since we can talk to him afterwards. Right. So let's go fast. So Chloe is a distant friend, which means it might not even be worth talking to her. Oh no, it says, sorry, I read this wrong. Current friend requirement is 13, so we're good. We have, because the total friend requirement is 10. We have enough friends. We just don't know enough people. We need to know 4 more people. Okay, Chloe, that means love talking to you. You're such a great friend. But I'm instead going to do a friendly introduction to Arnett, because then he is like an acquaintance to know. So that means that should bump us up to 22. Right. And then, oh no, we do know Arnett. He's a stranger right here. Let's just check if we talk to him. Say, hi. Let's get to know you. Okay, he complimented us, I think. We're gonna do a chat and ask about career. Okay, so talking to him was good, so now he's an acquaintance rather than a stranger. It's acquaintances that matter. Acquaintances is what gets counted, stranger does not. Okay, perfect. Sounds great. So we're gonna do that basic conversation. And then they're the people who are out here that I was able to like easily see. Also know that the graveyard has kind of been like a meeting spot for a second. Right. So we can also check out the graveyard to see if there are any people hanging out there. They're like moved into our town that just for some reason Miss Dietrich does not know. Right. We don't need to talk to Arnett for this long. I would love to ask about career. We don't need to tell a funny story. We don't need to enthuse about the outdoors. We can talk about his family, though. This will all work out. So, Arnett is in the trainer career. Lovely. Very exciting. And perfect. So we need to know 3 more people. Okay. Well, our gems aren't necessarily going to take us near the cemetery currently. So we're gonna head there later. We want to improve our charisma skill. Girly, we've almost mastered our charisma skill. We just need more people, and because this is nothing is free challenge, there aren't many people in town, and you know that's my inexperience for picking this aspiration as the first one. You know that's my bad. That's my bad. I take accountability. Right. But I am just gonna have Miss Dietrich grab all the rocks that she can. I might put us on triple speed. This means we can get it going more. Then we did have the maid. And Miss Lydia is almost home from work, which is also something to consider. Okay. I don't love that music. Lydia has left work. And we were warned many times. We were warned many times. And now she has been fired. Do we think our performance was adequate? Someone else can be found to do the job because there's always someone else. Yeah. That's not a good time, but we do want to donate money. We do want to donate money to Undermine Charity. Everyone's favorite thing to do. So since she has been fired, we'll figure out what's going on with her situation here. But I'm thinking priority-wise, she needs to up her fun like really bad. So I'm gonna fly us to the house. And she hates the outdoors. Hopefully this is indoors enough. The chess table, we'll see. And since we're at the cemetery, we saw that no one was there, so it may not even be worth going there. That's okay. That's okay. Miss Lydia, I told you to come home to practice chess. Can you do that? Yes, we're aware that we got fired. You gave us that notification twice. I said that our cell phone was ringing, but it looks like we're fine now. And our mood is too low to play chess. We're gonna just play a computer game, because hopefully that should up our fun a little bit. And we immediately want to find a new job. Good luck, bestie. There's only one venue in town. Oh, hi, Kilmolly. You've never done this challenge. The number of sims you already know is impressive. Thank you. I don't know if it's cheating per se, but in the challenge rules, they basically say that you can you can basically build a house and then move sims from your household into that house. So I was kind of moving sims, like the sims that we knew, such as, I know that Lydia, I believe, was either a maid or a male person. So we moved her in to try to like have her reproduce and have like a more solid first generation. Because I do enjoy, you know, seeing like the children of Sims. For example, Flynn is a child of one of like the spawned Sims in town, one of like the NPCs. So I've enjoyed doing that, but it also has meant that we live like on a little commune here, and our only lot that we currently have in this challenge is the graveyard, which was to manage our dead, since we have had some Sims die since we were moving people in, right? So yeah, but this is my first time trying this challenge, Kill Molly. So we have our founder here. Our first generation is still alive, of Miss Dietrich. She is an elder, and her traits are that she loves the outdoors, she's a technophobe, she's family oriented, and she's charismatic. And of course, her trait is to master the charisma skill and the guitar skill. She's already mastered the guitar skill, right? Yes, she has. But just charisma, we don't know enough people yet. So that's what we're trying to work on. So yeah. But I've always been very interested in like building my own Sims town with like playing around with Create a World. And so it's like, you know, Create a World feels a little too stressful. If I like learn the basics of what a town needs to survive through the Nothing is Free challenge, that sounds fun. Okay. Miss Lydia is taking care of her needs after being fired, which is great. Miss Dietrich wants to see a concert. We don't have a theater yet. I'm so sorry, Miss Ma'am. But she could definitely collect some more. I'm gonna have her collect some more gems. I know she's headed there for a gem. Did she not pick up this gem? It's whatever. So since Miss Dietrich's needs are fine, I'm gonna have her continue working on that, because that is a great way for us to get the money that will help us long term. Miss Dietrich had a child with Lauren, and now they want to get married. But I want them to like not get married on their little like outdoor situation. I would like it to be a little bit nicer in my little screenshots. So I want to build them like an actual house, or we could do it at the cemetery and make it like an official church. I kind of like that idea more, of like bougieing up the cemetery and having a wedding there. I think I might do that. We've collected all the rocks that we can. Elmore, I've been ignoring, because he was just good kind of fishing, but he does have some hunger, so I'm gonna run to have him eat chocolate chip cookies before he has work. Because that's a great strategy. So he's just gonna down some cookies, and then he's gonna go to work, and everything should be fine. He's hopefully gonna get a promotion, the opposite of Miss Lydia, but hopefully minimum wage job, like part-time job for $33 an hour, I am very jealous of in our real life economy. But yeah, Perfect. And then Lauren, he's doing well fishing, and so is Ginger. She wants to catch a variety of fish, so I'm happy to have her do that. And I forgot to have her take care of her needs, and that's my bad. I'm gonna send her to shower right now, along with eating like an actual somewhat meal, which is great pancakes. That's what we have right now. Then otherwise, her needs are fine. So I'm probably gonna send her to fish again. Right. Lydia's fun is good. Her hunger is also getting a little low. Can you cook? She can kind of cook. So I'm gonna have her do an autumn salad. And then to take care of her hunger. And then Miss Lydia is probably just going to go to bed. Because she's had a day. She can go to sleep. Elmore is going to work, which is great. Miss Dietrich is still going around collecting the rocks and gems, which I'm very happy with. So, yeah. Let's speed forward a little bit. Perfect. Lydia, you made salad. One would think maybe you should eat it? Have we considered that as a possibility? She's working on it. She's had a day. She's not thinking about those things. Lauren is also hungry. So I'm going to send him to can eat that leftovers, and then I'm happy to have him fish again. Dietrich still has a lot of things to collect. So yeah. But I think that will be all right. Miss Dietrich is in this area. I like the idea of basically having our wedding in the graveyard and making it more church-esque rather than just having it on our home lot. I'm actually very pleased with that idea right now. I think that's what I'm planning to do. So yeah. So please excuse me. I'm thinking we're gonna get everyone into bed, and then I'm going to take a quick little break, and then we'll come back. And I don't have any plans for how I want this like church cemetery to look, but it would be fun to kind of play around with that, you know? Ms. Dietrich is still out there collecting. Because once she's done her collecting, and like we have all these gems gathered for the episode, it normally takes a couple days for the gems to like repopulate. So then she can focus her energies on just befriending other or getting to know other Sims, right? Which is very helpful. Right. Okay. It seems like those are all the rocks in town we can collect. I've learned it's important to like leave at least... Well, there's some over here that we just didn't get. Well, that's annoying. It's important to leave it like at least one, it seems, so the world is able to repopulate more. So I'm fine to do that. Okay, perfect. But once we have those gems, then Miss Dietrich can come home. And Henry, one of the Sims, is up. Yes, Kilmali, the cost of some lots varies based off of the size. Also, in Creator World, you're able to increase like the value of some lots. I'm not sure if my Reality Sims, who's the creator of this world, did that, but I know that like I believe the lots here are around like 2,000 each, you know, like for example, the graveyard lot costs way more than that, right? Along with the lots over here, which are bigger. You can't see their outlines right now, unfortunately, because we are not in Edit Town. So yeah. But Miss Dietrich's not having a good time, but she's just gonna collect all the gems and then she can come home. You know, we just gotta catch them all, collect them all, the gems. Does that work? Does that work better? Okay. Once Miss Dietrich is done, I'm gonna have her have autumn salad, and then she's honestly so tired, she might just need to go straight to bed, which it is fair. Elmore has left work. Did you not? He did get a promotion! So, his impressive performance has earned him the promotion of Overseer of the Dead, as well as a bonus. Guarding the mausoleum gates might sound easy, but sorting living from the dead can be hard work. He makes $55 an hour. Oh, part-time. Incredible. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. He is going to get home, and then Elmore can probably just go to bed because he's so tired. He does want to up his logic skill because he's a perfectionist, possibly. Or it's just one of the skills that he has. So we're going to let him probably do that tomorrow some. He's going to go to sleep. And then Ginger, she wants to be Renaissance Sim currently. She is starting to get tired, so I'm also happy to send Ginger to sleep. Then Lauren, I'm gonna keep Lauren up for a minute. Oh, the sun's setting so beautifully. Look at the mountains. The red and where sun down already, but oh, that's so pretty. Okay, incredible. But I think Miss Dietrich is going to finish her collecting and then get home and eat. And then after that, I would like to have try to have Dietrich and Lauren woohoo, because they are together. They are officially fiancés now. We want to get them married. So my thing is just a question of they're not that tired. We'll get Lauren back on the lot. And like since we'll get him back on the lot, and then hopefully those two can woohoo together to not complete, most likely not complete, but to work on Lauren's wish of improving the Kama Sutra skill. So he can woohoo with Miss Dietrich Meadows. Right? Please just be chill with it. Please just be chill with it. Say hi, we've both had a hard day working. You think I'm very alluring immediately. That's helpful. Awesome. Lauren is still an adult. He has 10 days until aging up. So I do fear Miss Dietrich is going to go before him, which is a little scary. But that's okay. We're gonna figure it out. But yeah. We're gonna have these two have the little woohoo to complete his wish. And then, not to complete his wish, but to get started. And then I'm planning to take a little break real quick. And then we're actually gonna start doing construction on the church lot. So I will be right back. Hello, hello. I am back. We're switching back to our gameplay screen. Here we are. So, we saved. So now it should be time to just swing by the graveyard. We go real estate. Check upgrade requirements. We just need to make it more expensive, which we can definitely do. So I'm gonna go to buy. I believe we could probably go to either and it'd be fine. And we're just gonna make it day. So, why is that not what I wanted? I want to build. It's fine. I do like this as our like mausoleum. I'm pretty happy with that. I do want to throw a gate around it because gates are just like really essential to me in how I picture cemeteries. I don't want like too much gate. Like Grimm's Fence is a really fun store content one. I'm just gonna start putting down fences to like play around with. Fairy Tale Fence might be good somewhere, like in between the lots. You have the Gothic graveyard fencing, which would feel like a classic. Hilt and Holt as a fence. I don't like this Celtic. Right. The Hilt and Holt, I'm gonna grab again. Just to kind of have it closer. We do have these like misspelled fences, which I feel kind of fit. We have the wrought iron fences, which I would love to get in the right direction. Hi. Perfect. Have this rail kind of fencing. The century fence, which isn't going to work if there's not a roof, I don't believe. I don't know exactly what kind of fence I want. I think I don't hate this misspelled fencing, to be honest, if we can get it to be like the right color. I feel like it goes with the vibe of town that we are trying to establish. I don't like this one. I'll tell you that. These metal ones, I don't love like the detailing on these points for the purpose of like this fence and this build. So these like two especially fancy ones get taken away from me. I am fine with like the circle here along with this fence here. I'm just trying to figure out what I would like more. I feel like the Grimm fence is a classic. So I might go with that. The Grimm's fence. I do want it to kind of match what we have. I think I can definitely match what we have here with this little mausoleum. I just need to go in and fix our stones that way. So the stones are going to be kind of like whitewashed. So if I just go pure white, that will probably be the most helpful thing I can do right now that we have. Making the variations in the stones is always like one of the hardest parts, because you want enough that there's a tint but not enough that it just like looks pink, you know? I feel like actually I'm gonna go wild. The tints I want are blue, I want green, and I want teal, because that's what I feel like is kind of on this building here, right? If that makes sense. And we'll have mostly white, but I just need to track these up and make them lighter to the point like where I can't even see the color mainly in the preview. I'm gonna add a little bit of the color in the preview. The green is still way too strong though. Okay. And the teal looks too strong. I'm just over here staring at colors. It's actually interesting because at my work, someone came to me and was like, I know you like colors, so let me tell you about this. And I was like, oh, okay. I do like colors. You're not wrong, but it's very interesting as an adult to have someone come up to me and be like, you like colors. Okay, I like this with the cemetery here. And then we have this kind of like, it's more... So I like this kind of detailing here for like the metal. Of like, I get this is more window, but I do like the color. And I want to try to match. We could do color picking, but I do feel like that would be kind of not necessarily pointless, but a little hard in this situation. I do just want to see what rock do we have grabbed for this. One with a noticeable shine, but I just like knowing which rocks we're using, right? But we can just drag and they'll be fine. So it is this like deep, rich, it's kind of like rich teal that I want to like match it to, right? A little bit more towards the green. I'm gonna keep the color very saturated because that's what's gonna make me happy. But I feel like, actually, I feel like that's a pretty good match. I'm specifically looking at like where I'm kind of pointing this area where it has more of that like teal tone. Might be a little bit too green. But I feel like, honestly, this makes me very happy. And then we can like match there. I think that looks very pretty. Right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put this Grim Reaping around the fence. And okay, and when we build it is being subtracted from our household money, which is very important. Okay. I'm gonna start with 5 on the corners. because I do want fencing, but I don't want it like here the fencing will go through a tree, and that doesn't look the most logical, right? So I feel like starting with the 5, because I feel like the strong corners is very pretty to me. Something that's very interesting to me about the history is that graveyards were basically like parks, right? And so they were treated as parks, and like it was a gathering space. And currently this is technically the only lot that we have in our town. So I feel like that very much applies here, right? So for our entrance, I would love to have like on the sides here. Do I want to narrow enough like that? I kind of like having it wider open. I think that that's very pretty. And then I'm thinking maybe we have the fence in multiples of something, and then we put plants in between to give it more of an open feel. And what I want to use, importantly for reference, is this tree here. It's very, very important. So I feel like a gap of 3 would be very pretty. And also would fix this from the tree, right? But then this is like 4. And if we go 4 there. And we also have the question of, does it fit with the amount of sides we have? Right? Oh, it's a while. We could probably like squint some stuff too. We could also make it 5 in between, right? And then we could go like, that's 5 in between. We have 4 there. And then if we have 5, that doesn't work that way, and it would go through the tree. I'm happy with like basically 4 immediately on the edges. And then spacing of this tree is very fun for me. Okay. I mean, I think honestly fencing fully in and then I can delete later is going to be more helpful, because I feel like creating entry points more intentionally is going to be more helpful than just having like gaps in the fence, you know? And I think that's important to note. The fence is going to cost a lot of money though. It'll be worth it. And I am going to keep it open like this here, since it is like the end. I think that's important for an opening, right? And then we can consider more places that we want to have it. The good news is that we've already probably maxed the like lot requirement basically. Okay, beautiful. We're gonna start with this. And we do need the mausoleum somewhere in the lot. I'm going to leave these fences that we put down as options for right now, just so we can see how much open space we have. So the mausoleum definitely needs to be in the graveyard area. I find the graveyard area, I feel like having on the back of the lot would be really cool. Just to have like the church at the front here. And then we have like with this front access point. And then we can have the graveyard as like a back access point. Just as like a consideration, right? And I do would that be cute? Would that be worth it? I don't know. We'll have to think about that. We'll have to figure out what that tree too. Oh wait, do we go through another tree? There is another tree that we do unfortunately go through. We're gonna clear 4. That's cleared. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. So I'm trying also to think. I believe there are other lots kind of here. And I was thinking of like the church. I was raised Roman Catholic, right? I get the church imagery. So I'm just trying to think exactly what I'm trying to build. That's why it is helpful having like the notebook to draw things out. So I want to think in cemetery first, because that is helpful to me, right? I like having the idea of like flat rows, and I want it, since this is definitely the back of the lot, my plan is to have it kind of positioned in rows. Like, I'm gonna take the small fence that we had here, kind of like yay, right? So we have this tree. I'm just gonna go in front of that tree, along with we need like to figure out how far away from the edge of the lot we want to be. And then we want to decide how big. I think a 2x6 for every like, or a 2x. Let me just check out spacing. So we can do 2x4, which is kind of small, 2x5, or 2x6. I feel like 2x6 is too big for me. 2x4 is too small, but 2x5 is kind of like a good compromise for me, you know? So I'm gonna place said lots, these like 2x5s all over the graveyard with, I've learned that I don't want 2 spaces between them. I fear that that will look too large space-wise, right? But I want kind of rows like yay. And I want to have, I'm mostly thinking like graveyard spanning all the way in the back, and then we have like this kind of wedding area here, right? I'm not exactly sure how big we want the graveyard to be. Also, I'm seeing in terms of like spacing, I would like to kind of have like a walk-in row there, since we have kept that open, like considered that open to the public as an entryway. So I am going to draw with that in mind. I don't think, or something to consider is to like not have graves up here, and it could instead be kind of like, I kind of like that. The idea of like in this entryway-ish area, the graves don't start there, and instead the graves can start lower down, right? So we can have kind of more like seating in there possibly. So with the short little fairy tale fence, I would like it ideally at least one behind there, and then we do 2x5. I feel like having it immediately on start is a lot also, though. You might want, honestly, I kind of want to like, I almost feel like we could start maybe there, right? Because that's like 4 away from the edge of the lot. I don't hate that. 4 does, I don't hate, I'm more thinking 3, because I feel like that's, you know, enough space that doesn't look too wild to me, right? Perfect. And I don't need to plot out every single lot, right? But just kind of the idea of where we're going, I think, is helpful, and how much length there is, right? So in between rows, I would love to have like 2 in between the rows. Meanwhile, 1 in between the graves, like vertically. So columns 1, but rows 2, if that makes sense. And then we can just kind of plot out like that. And I almost think, based off of this design, I kind of want to put the mausoleum like in between these 2 trees. One which is being intersected by the fence. Yay. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out. We're kind of like putting the mausoleum in like the yay-ish area. I want... Okay. So this is as far back as I can have it. Then I want it like basically centered between these 2 trees. Or like the peak in between these 2 trees, which is gonna get us like about there, you know? This is all right. This is perfect. And then we can have like, I'm almost thinking in terms of the pathway. I'm not sure what, you know, stone to use yet, but I'm thinking like we kind of here with like a seating area, right? You have like some seating on the side, kind of boxed in there. Some space like in front with some plants, and then go up to the door. Like yay, in terms of the terrain paint. Right? Rather than painting it though, I do fear that that might be a little bit more messy. So I might just take, I think taking the fencing would probably be a smarter advisement. I can't intersect. Interesting. But kind of having terrain paint like in here. And then honestly continuing like past where these graves are to have to like connect to the church. I think that might be smart. Also, where the mausoleum is currently, it's already centered between the amount of graves that we have, and I would like there to be more graves, you know? So we could... I'm trying to think. Because we could have it like a walk-in, like, yay? Where like you walk in straight, and then here it is. But then I have to figure out what to do with the side here. Right? So I do like the idea of it like in between some trees. And OBS is having difficulties. Let's go. I'm gonna run to live mode for a second to save. And we're gonna pay a little bit attention of what's going on with OBS. We're struggling to reconnect. But also YouTube still says we're still streaming. And so does Twitch. So... Okay. Fun. Hi. It's interesting to me because YouTube is always the hard one, but YouTube still says we're connected. Interesting. I'm not terrified of what this means. It says 0 drop frames, but it does say... I am honestly so confused. I think we're good. My apologies. And I do need to unmute the desktop audio. I forgot to do that. I'm going to transition to our chat screen and see if that does anything for our attempting to reconnect that we're having. Not that I can see. Okay. We do appear to be okay, though. Oh, now it says we're dropping frames. Okay. I'm genuinely so confused. Okay. Twitch says we're not streaming anymore. I'm going to... What if I try to preview Twitch, it says that I'm not streaming. Okay. My apologies. I genuinely am so confused. Because YouTube is normally the one that has the difficulties. But Twitch says we're not streaming anymore. And we're saying that we're attempting to reconnect. I don't know what is going on in that sense. Therefore, for my sanity, since YouTube is still going, I'm going to keep streaming, I think. And we're gonna see if more issues arise. That's where I think I'm at. Right? Because, yeah, I just don't know where the difficulty is coming in. But it does say that the graveyard is actually ready to be opened, which is exciting. Right? I genuinely am so confused of what's going on my end. I think I'm gonna end the stream and try to start again to see what's going on. So I'm just gonna end for a second to restart and hopefully fix what's going on with OBS. I'll be back in hopefully like a couple minutes.